Hello there. I guess it's that time of year where we see a lot of fireworks on the west side of the world. It's a pretty important holiday for those people. Obviously, I'm not American, but I hope you guys have a great 4th of July. Although, as of recording this 2 weeks prior to that day, it feels weird. But when the time comes when this video is up, it'll most likely be on that special day. So, yeah. Anyways, there is a hero set I want to cover for you guys that correlates with the special day, and they are the flag bearer heroes. They come around in the event store during the 4th of July celebrations, so if you're thinking about grabbing them for use or for the book level, make yourself a favor. If they're not available during the time you're watching this, all 4 of them requires a hero voucher to recruit from the collection book. Alright, so the flag bearers consist of 4 heroes, 2 soldiers, 1 outlander, and 1 constructor. I want to start off with the outlander one. He is Old Glory A.C. Old Glory A.C. here has a pretty decent perk that is called Impossibility Matrix. It's for reducing cooldowns on fragment abilities, which we only have 2 of those in the game, Teddy and Shock Tower. Just keep in mind, his perk cooldown works only if you have a charge on the fragment abilities. So if you just use it without the charge fragment, the cooldown percentage will not apply and become somewhat obsolete. But even then, when you do have the charge fragments, he makes your fragment abilities almost spammable with the cooldown reduction. As a commander, he reduces those 2 by 30%. In support, it's 10%. I would say he would fit best as a support perk because 10% is still a lot, especially if you want a different commander that can deal more damage or have longer duration with certain abilities. But if you want him as your commander for the 30% cooldown, he is still great as long as you have the charge fragments. Speaking about cooldown reduction on abilities, he fits on certain loadouts like the duration Teddy, for example, but I have a fun one that I've used for a bit, and it's a Shock Tower loadout. Remember, this is just a build of my personal preference. You can have yours differently or you can replicate it if you don't have much ideas, as long as you feel comfortable and having fun with loadouts. Wild Fragment Deadeye on the lead because he is amazing with applying affliction on any husk tagged with his Shock Tower, and the status effect itself deals great damage over time by 149%. Great for clearing out a lot of groups. Great for encampments as well. Of course, we have Happy Holidays as our team perk for that reduced cooldown on abilities. Old Glory A.C. in support. Fragment Generation perk actually complements very well with the above perk because you do require the charge of fragments to make his perk work well. So getting a certain amount of elims for charges and using fragment abilities over and over makes this build really fun to clear out groups of husks. If you rather not kill 39 for 1 charge, you can possibly have her on commander for less elims and gain more charges. The other 3 support perks are pretty much whichever you feel best for you. Pressing charges increases damage on fragment abilities by 30%. Up the voltage increases damage for Shock Tower by 33%. This is a Shock Tower build, of course. And lastly, Saurian Instinct perk. For every ability used, you get healed for a small amount. So that should be a suitable loadout for Old Glory A.C. We can now move on to the next one, the Constructor Flag Bearer, Patriot Penny. Not many people appeal with her much because of her perk that has something to do with Bull Rush, Emergency Override. Whenever your shield breaks, the cooldown of the Bull Rush resets, meaning you don't have to wait 15 seconds to use Bull Rush again. But of course, it can only occur after waiting for a few more seconds to reset it again. As commander, the next Bull Rush will cost no energy, and the reset time is way shorter. Surely, if you want to make a Bull Rush loadout, there is one that seems pretty interesting, which is the 3-second cooldown build. Obviously, it's another Happy Holidays loadout, and I did try using it in certain ways. It's mostly just pushing away husks again and again until they die. It does seem fun at the beginning because you have gold knocks and support that drop landmines behind you, Constructor Penny and Commander to significantly reduce cooldown, and Marathon Hype to increase distance of tiles for the Bull Rush. I don't know any other constructors that has their perks do something with Bull Rush other than the ones told here. It is a very goofy loadout. It could be fun if you want to push off husks away, unless you're that kind of person that pushes mini bosses out of the map. I would rather not be friends with you. The next flag bearer is a soldier. The next one after as well, and they're both actually great. We can start off with Stars and Stripes Jonesy. His perk is an ammo saver to most assault rifles and SMG builds overall. His standard perk is having a 24% chance of not spending ammo for every shot. In Commander, the percentage is doubled. He is really great for assault rifles or SMGs that are pretty expensive to use, or the ones with smaller magazine that you don't want it to have the magazine size perk on it, like the Storm King's Scourge, Blastertron Mini, Floor Flusher, and many more great weapons that work best with this hero. I did use him in the loadout for the Blizzard Blitzer build in a video way back. You can check that one out for the details. I'll link the video in the description. That rifle is really strong in terms of damage per second. The loadout that I used recently was for the Scourge build. We all know how strong the Mythic Assault Rifle is, so I decided to use a Crackshot loadout for representation. He is obviously on lead for the 50 stacks of ranged weapon damage buff. The team perk is totally rocking out for the increased crit rating and healing output. Battle Beat and Fumble activates it, with the rest of the support perks that just have to do with the assault rifles alone. Ammo Recovery is our guy we just talked about, Sledgehammer for the increased crit damage, and Rescue Trooper for overall damage. The fact that the Scourge uses energy cells, arguably the second most expensive ammo, the flag bearer hero here can really save your ammo so much. Even for a 24% chance in support, it is still very effective. Now here is the last flag bearer hero we can take a look on. I usually leave the best for last, so here it is. Another soldier that kind of does the same thing with saving ammo, but this time she is Star-Spangled Headhunter. I did use her in a loadout for my snowball launcher video. Feel free to check that one out too. I'll link it next to the Blizzard Blitzer video whenever you want to give it a look. Her perk is almost similar to Stars and Stripes, but rather than specific weapon category, it's her Warcry ability that can affect all weapons. Her Warcry gives a 25% chance for every shot not to cost ammo. That is when she is in support. But in Commander, however, is basically 50-50 chance of not spending ammo for each shot, which is absolutely insane, especially for expensive ammo like rockets and energy cells. The snowball launcher that I mentioned earlier is built to save rocket ammo and deal great damage at the same time with the Warcry buff. I am pretty much using the same loadout in that video for this one, but I don't mind putting it here to let you guys see. The only difference that I can think of is either having Ghoul Trooper Ramirez for a flat 3-second duration, or Steel Wool Carlos for each elim counts up 0.4 seconds of the duration on that Warcry up to 15 stacks. That extends it up to 6 seconds if you manage to get a max of 15 elims. Whichever you find fitting for this loadout work both ways. I'd say this is actually a very powerful loadout and also expensive because of how much materials you need to craft rockets. I know it's like the third Happy Holidays loadout in this video, but cooldown reduction is pretty good, especially for abilities that take really long to be usable again. Now that should be all of the flag bearer heroes. I would recommend picking them all up whenever they come around the event store, but if you ask me which one is better or pick the personal best or something like that, I would clearly say the two soldiers, not just because they have good perks, it's mostly because I prefer running soldiers over any other classes regardless of their perks. They have a permanent increased ranged weapon damage, very high base health, and they have great DPS abilities. So yeah, just in case someone's gonna ask that, there's my 2 cents. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great 4th of July, even if you're not American, just like me. Hope you guys have a wonderful summer holiday. Take it easy, take care of yourself, and love yourself.